Sometimes a loved one's health issues are a stark reminder of our own health issues. My guests desire to help their mom, in turn, help themselves. This is Abe, Gustavo, I should say Gus, and Rudy Peña. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing pretty good now.
Good. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but we got it going. I was confident we were going to get this to work, and here we are. And I guess I should make it clear, based on what viewers can see, Abe is in the middle, Rudy is on the right side, and Gus is on the left side. So hopefully I got that right. Now, I heard your story, and you guys have an amazing story, and it's a phenomenal story of resilience, especially for your ages, because you're pretty young guys. And I want to start by talking about your childhood because this is something that I can relate to myself. So growing up, you all battled your weight, just as I did. Talk about your childhood and talk about what caused you to gain weight. And Abe, I'll start with you on this one.
Childhood pretty much is just kind of Mexican culture is just eating, overeating, and in the sense where it's like, hey, if you're not eating, something's wrong with you. So it's like you have to keep eating or that, or you're just like, hey, what's wrong? Like you're not eating, and you're just trying to just like, hey, eat better. But growing up, it was harder because same thing. It was just a whole bunch of like junk food, and it was just something quick because our dad was a welder and it was like 14-hour days, so it was just something quick to get us to eat. And when he would come home, we would overeat, and it's just like eat up, eat up, eat up, eat up. And that was one of the main things was like pretty much hard growing up, was just like, what, the hot dogs are right there, corn dogs are right there, and it's just kind of like snacking and snacking. So
Right.
that was pretty hard growing up doing that. Like that's pretty much what caused everything, kind of like pretty much overeating and eating a lot of junk food.
Probably a lot of carbs too, I imagine, right? With the
Oh
Mexican
yeah,
food.
definitely.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Well, back in 2012, Abe, you would have been in your 20s at that time, and Gus, I think you were a teenager, and Rudy was a preteen at that time. Your parents split up, and you guys stayed with
Yes.
your mom. And obviously, for a single mom raising three boys, I can't imagine. I got one son. Everything I heard about raising a boy, it all came true. And now your mom had three, and so I imagine that must have been pretty tough. Gus, talk about that time. Talk about when your parents split up and about how your mom had to raise the three of you by herself.
Well, it was kind of a difficult time because since we were all young, we were all trying to find ourselves as men, essentially. Bree was in high school. It was starting to, he was becoming a man at this point. He was like in his mid-20s, and me, I was like a little bit fresh out of high school, so I was going into college and stuff like that, community college. So really, whenever my dad walked out the picture, it was kind of tough because we had to become more accountable for each other and stuff like that. So it was one of those things where like you grow up kind of faster than not, but I mean you kind of get through it for the most part.
Right. Well, I understand that your mom started to experience health issues. She had diabetes and kidney problems. And Abe, you were between jobs at the time, so I understand that she taught you how to cook, and you learned how to cook healthy meals for her. Talk about what that experience was like for you. Had you ever touched food as a cook before, or were you kind of diving head in, brand new to this thing, and now you're having to learn how to cook healthy meals?
I kind of just dove right in. I did have a job at Fuddruckers, but I was just making burgers. So it was just like one of those things. The same thing. Like she pushed me to try to go to college, so I did community college for a while, and then like I said, her health was going real bad, and same thing with her health meal. She was like, "Hey, since you know how to cook food a little bit, help me make this." And I was like, "Man, I don't know. Like it's a different like it's something I'm not used to." And she's like, let's do it. You can do it. And, I made it for the first time and it sucked. And she was just like, we'll get better at it. I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, like, I suck. Like, but she did push me because she's like, hey, you need to learn how to cook better, do better. Like, you don't want to be in the same position as I am. So it was like, that kind of like sparked something in me. It's like, okay, cool. I got to do something about it because, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur / business owner. That's what I was going to school for. And, everything clicked together while I was helping her and everything. And she, like, the way she pushed me and, just the way she taught me things. And I was just like, okay, cool. I got it. And, now here we are today doing all this because, she taught me. And this is, it's a different, like, people could taste like the love we have in our food for it, and I think that's something that carries on over like what we've been doing, like what she taught me in the kitchen and how we do things.
Awesome. Well, it was the summer of 2015, and unfortunately, your mom passed away. I understand that she had diabetes and also she experienced kidney failure. I can't imagine how tough that must have been on you guys because you guys were all very young. And Abe, as Gus kind of mentioned, you became the man of the house. Talk about that time, about losing your mom and about you having to kind of take hold as the father figure of the household with two younger brothers.
Oh man, I wouldn't say father figure, but I mean it was tough because each one of them had their own like route and journey, and it was. I wasn't trying to be like that, like hey, y'all have to do this, but because we all fell into a sort of depression state, and like I said, after that it was just really tough to try to get everybody together, all of us like on the same page because Rudy was working at Stripes and he was working overnight. And Gus, same thing. He was trying to find himself, trying to find a job. He had just came back from Austin, I believe, like literally 2 weeks before our mom passed away. So he was out there working a job, came back, and then it was really hard trying. Like I said, it was each one of us fell into our own state, and it took me probably about 4 or 5 months to get it together and be like, guys, we can't be doing this. I can't be doing this. Like we need to get going, and that was super tough for me as older brother and as a person because I'm just like I don't know what to do. Like I didn't have the support. I didn't have like it was just kind of like what do I do? And there was nights I would pray like come on man, like somebody up there help me out. Like I don't know what I'm doing. And eventually like I said we all clicked and we all got together and it's sort of started rolling for the year after she passed away up until we lost our house.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get to that too. Before your mom passed, though, I understand that she made you guys promise her that you were going to change your lives. And Rudy, I'll throw this one to you. Talk about what your mom said and what kind of an effect that had on you.
Before my mom passed, she gave us, she called each one of us saying, "Hey, take care of each other. Make sure you guys are there for each other. You guys are brothers. You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good in life. I know you are. Just take care of them, please."
And didn't she talk, Abe, I'll ask you, didn't she talk to you about changing your life in terms of your diet and your lifestyle as well?
Yeah, it was weird because we were at the gym actually, and when I had talked to her, she was like, "Hey, just keep losing weight, keep exercising. You're doing really good." And same thing with the business. Push it. You got something good going. She's like, "I believe in you," and I was just like, I kind of left it off because she's like, "Mom, we've been in and out the hospital so many times, and I picked you up so many times, like, and it was just, just kind of brushed it off." But she's like, "No, promise me." She's like, "Yeah." I go, "Mom, no, I promise you." Like, and she's like, "Man, promise me you'll take care of your brothers too. Make sure they grow up to be young, great men, like, they're supposed to be." And I was like, "Mom, yes, I will." Like, kind of like I didn't believe it. And I was like, "Mom, just relax. We're gonna get through this." And she's like, "No, promise me all this. You need to do it. Like, hey." I was like, "All right, Mom, I got you. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna push everything as much as I can." And she's like, "All right, And then that's after that she had called Gus because we're all in different areas. And so I was like, it was in the back of my mind, like, I promise. And I was like, okay, cool. Thinking driving home, like, I'll pick her up later and I'll be like, "Mom, but when the doctor called us and told us like she, had a heart attack and wasn't going to come back, we were just like, crap, like it set in, like I just couldn't believe it."
For sure, for sure. Well, Abe, around that time, I understand that your weight had gotten to the point that you were over 300 pounds. And was it learning how to cook the healthy meals for your mom that set you on the path towards a healthier life?
Yes, it did. Because like the whole meal prepping thing, when I was helping her out, it was just like, I got better at it. And I was like, man, this is actually good. And it got to the point where, like I said, it motivated me to look more into like actual macronutrition and nutrients to where, you could have no salt seasonings and you could actually weigh some, your food, or you could actually kind of like, not deprive yourself of food, but actually eat a little bit better and slowly lose weight. So with that, everything she taught me and motivated me to keep going. Like, hey, look further into it. Like, look for different healthier options. Like a healthier chicken teriyaki. I can eat one, but I gotta be clean. I gotta eat better the rest of the day. And I'm like, okay, that still fits within my calorie range type of plan. And because there's various, like I said, it opened up my mind to different diets, different nutrition plans, different ways of eating, but eating better at the end of the day. It's just so much crazy how much I've grown from what she's taught me. And I was just and I thought it was just no seasoning, no salt seasoning type of situation, but there's so much more to it.
Sure. And what about you, Gus? What was your weight loss journey like? What was it like for you watching your older brother here getting fancy with all the healthier stuff?
Man. So, for the most part, I kind of started my journey a little bit later than both of these gentlemen over here. But definitely looking, they would always tell me, hey, do you want to try this? Or, hey, do you want to try that? And I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll try some food. And it was so much trial and error that went into it. Once you started getting an array of dishes and the recipes down right, it started becoming even more better. And, it prompted me to get more, into the act of actually eating healthier. And then eventually, me exercising and then putting, two and two together and actually going forward with it.
Well, it was in 2014 that you decided to take what you learned cooking for your mom and turn that into a business, a prepared meals business called Abes Fitty Foods. Tell me about that. What made you decide to go down that path and choose that as a business option?
Oh, me as a business option, pretty much. I owe everything to our mom. Without her backing me up, I wouldn't even taken the leap, because she was telling she pushed me to go to college, and I was like, all right, I just didn't know what to do. And when I started making the meals, and she was like, hey, you should do that, make meals for people, and I was just thinking I don't know, I kind of suck at it, but it just progressed, hey, let me try, every now and then. And the first, when I posted it, people were like, oh, I'll buy some, and 2 weeks later, nobody bought food. So it was a harsh reality of hey, this is not always going to be like that. And she would tell me hey, keep your head up, let's do it, keep doing it. And that's pretty much progressed to where we are today. And I'm just kind of it's just crazy how much she's pushed me to do it, and what we've sold to where we're at now. And it's just it's a process with everything. It's not all I guess everybody thinks it's an overnight thing. It's taken us so much years to actually try to accomplish a decent amount of meals made in a week.
Yeah. And Rudy, were you and Gus on board with this business idea, or was this Abe's baby from the start?
At first, mainly it was Abe. Then he kind of asked for my help every now and then. He was like, hey, you think you can help me out trying to cook this, trying to cook that? And then, we slowly got into a groove of helping each other out with his business. It eventually took me 3 years after high school for me to jump fully on board. We talked to each other you know what, we're going to try this for 1 year. You're going to quit your job, try this for 1 year, and I think we could succeed. And you know what? We succeeded. It's almost been 2-3 years since I quit my job, and we're still going strong.
Awesome. Well, you guys have already kind of alluded this, but starting your own business can be tough. And oftentimes you experience a lot of failure before you experience success, which you guys have basically just talked about. In your case, first couple of attempts, they didn't work out. Obviously, you were dealing with a lot with your mother and whatnot. Is it true that your dad sold your house and fled the country?
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it happened actually Thanksgiving week. Person came to our house hey, we own your house. And we're like, what? And they gave us the paper, and on the paper said, Sir Joe sold the house to X amount. And we're just like, what? And, there was no way to get in contact with him, because he was just kind of I guess, ignoring everybody. And then, one of our, family members from Mexico was like, yeah, he's down here. And, it was just one of those things, because they were like, well, y'all can't do nothing about it because he sold the house to this person. And they own the house. So it was just, and they were just like, y'all need to be out within 2 weeks.
That's
so
crazy.
It is. It's. I went to like the courthouse, and they told me the same thing. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. I tried to go like to a lawyer around the area, and they're like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. They sold the house. It's their house. They can do whatever they want. And we're just like we didn't know what to do because it was just so surreal. Because I'm just like I was looking at Gus like, dude, what do I do? Like, I don't know. Like, I need help. And he's I don't know either. And we're just kind of like in just shock for a couple of days. And until they told us like, hey, the cops gonna come by and tell y'all to leave, or if not, y'all gonna be arrested for trespassing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was just a crazy situation because like it just since Thanksgiving just happened, it was just like that week, and the memories pop up like on our Facebook or whatever when it happened, and it's just kind of like it's just so like. It's crazy how everything's happened like in so fast in such a short time. And
for sure. It's going to make a good chapter in the book that you write one day. You say that about it. So you lost your house. I understand that you were sleeping on friends' couches for a little bit, and you even slept in your car for a little bit. And then your fortune started to turn around after a stranger showed you some kindness. Tell me about that, about what happened. Somebody apparently approached you and had heard your story?
Yes, somebody had approached me. I was jogging around the neighborhood, and it was a lady came walking down the street from where we used to live because we were staying down the street. And she goes, "Hey, I'm sorry. What's going on?" And she gave me a hug, and she's like, "Here, I hope this helps. It's not much." And I was just like, "Thank you so much." And I just put it in my pocket and think none of it. And then just a couple of days later, me and Rudy went, to the gym to go take a shower and work out, or to work out then shower there. And, I was like, man, let me just deposit the money or deposit the check. And, like when I deposited it, I just looked at it, glanced at it. It was like, $400. She gave us $400. Like, well, yes. And then like when the deposit screen said 4,000, I was just kind of like, Rudy. He's like, what? Like, it's $4,000, bro. I was like, no way. And I was like crying because I'm like, we can finally get a house. Like, It's just so crazy because I'm like, I have crappy credit. We didn't really have credit. So it was just like everybody was asking like $6,000 down, $5,000 down. And we're just like, okay, we have four. Like, we can actually get a house. And I'm just like, now I'm trying to find somebody to help me. And I posted like, anybody know on Facebook, like a realtor or somebody that can help us out. And one of my old customers, and she had like, I didn't know her actual name, but her name was Lourdes, and my mom's name was Lourdes. So it was when she helped us out to get our house that we were at, it was kind of weird because it was like, she came in clutch and out of nowhere, like she bought probably like a year prior to that. And I was like, she's like texting me, she's like, hey, this is Lourdes. And I was just like, what? Like, and she's like, hey, I'm a realtor, I can help you out. And she did help us out, like, to the max. And I'm just like, that's such a like weird forward like events that makes you believe more of like, mom's watching over us from the get-go. Like, because it's like, what are the odds of that? Like a realtor named Lourdes helping us out, and our mom's name is Lourdes. Like, it's so crazy.
It is. And then 2017 comes along, so you've dealt with all this adversity. You had this good fortune come up. 2017, you decided, let's relaunch Abes Fitty Foods, give it another go, and you started a GoFundMe campaign. And this time, things went differently than the previous times. Tell me about what made it work that time, and tell me about the GoFundMe campaign.
It's just, everything was just a little bit different because we're just excited for it, and we're just like, let's go. Because we didn't know what to expect heading into 2017, because that GoFundMe campaign was like, a couple of our friends helped us out. They're like, hey, let's try to get them a house before that. And that actually helped us, that GoFundMe actually helped us get a stove and a refrigerator for the house that we're at because they didn't have it. So with everything like that, it wasn't much that they raised, but it was something to get us going. And same thing, like we had an 89 Honda CRX between us three. And like everything just kind of like, okay, like we got a stove, we got a fridge, let's keep pushing it. And we ended up 3 months later, we ended up putting a down payment on a 2015 Honda CRV. So like everything just kind of shifted that way. Like, you know what, we're becoming older, but we're also becoming more responsible. Where we got bills, we got to pay rent, we gotta hustle for this. Like, and it's just been nonstop since then. Cause I'm like, it's just so crazy how like everybody helps out, and it's just like and that's my thing, is just I like to thank everybody, and I think I'm not gonna stop until like our goal, and till we accomplish like so many things in life. And it's just kind of like that year was just a pivotal year for us too.
And on top of that, I talked earlier about you guys changing your lifestyle. I understand that you each lost over 100 pounds. How was that change of lifestyle for you guys, and have you been able to maintain it? Rudy, I'll throw that one to you.
It was a big change of lifestyle. I never noticed how big I was until I lost that 100 pounds. Clothes fit a lot slimmer now. Well, actually, I kind of did go through that again, because once you lose 100 pounds, you kind of have to like get new clothes. But that's like weight loss problems right there, though.
That's not a bad problem to have, yeah. And Gus, you said you were the last one to get on board with the lifestyle change and all that. But you also dropped 100 pounds just like your brothers. So how was the lifestyle change for you in terms of maintenance?
So it was a little bit tough at first, because I guess you could say my lifestyle did a complete 180 before I started doing the weight loss thing. I would go out, eat, I would join in debauchery with my friends and stuff like that. I would be onto those kind of things, and I don't regret it one bit. Don't get me wrong, but there comes a point in time where you start experiencing, or if you're heavy enough, you start experiencing health complications. Like I was starting to, have shortness of breath just for waking up and then just going to the restroom and stuff like that, and it takes, I guess you could say, it takes a certain level, of some maturity to realize that, hey, I need to cut this off, and change my lifestyle before things go bad. And luckily I have a really good support system with my brothers that I'm able to eat healthy food and maintain it as well, because they hold me accountable, and as well as I hold them accountable as well. Whenever we gotta, hey, we gotta go to the gym, like we gotta go at 10 in the morning. There's times where I don't want to go because I'm in my bed, like sleeping, because I stay, I worked late last night, and then, all I see is Rudy just come in my room, hey, come in. Or, and sometimes it'll be vice versa. Like I go into Abes' room and he's like, he's all like snowed in his little like cover and stuff. I'm like, nah, man, we gotta get this going. Because, at this point we have an image to keep up with, and it's the thing that's been motivating us, or, for the most part.
For sure. I mean, you guys have gotten a lot of attention. You're telling me off the air, I think USA Today did a story on you, and Kelly and Ryan talked to you guys. So you definitely are known now for what you guys have been able to accomplish. And in terms of the business now, so the business is going better now. And what are the plans? Because I read something about a storage container. You want to get a storage container storefront type of thing?
Yes. That's the plan, to get a storage container storefront / kitchen. Because, with everything going on, especially with COVID, we don't know, as far as like, we don't want to be locked in for like 5-6 years at a brick and mortar type of deal. And especially they're so expensive now. And, it was just a different idea, we had a couple years ago. We actually had a food truck idea, but, it didn't make sense, like in the long run, what we wanted to do with it. So, we thought of it, and, we're just like kitchen container. And I talked to my brothers, and like, man, that would look so clean. Like, cause we would still be able to do what we do now. Like, hey, take pre-orders, make food, and, still, have an actual kitchen to do it in. And, right now, like, we have that GoFundMe for that, which we've raised $3,000 for it. So it's, who knows, it might be coming next year, it might be coming the year after, but we're going to keep applying pressure to try to keep, with all this news, media, everything on us, we decided to go for it, because the people at ABC helped us. Like, they're like, hey, go for it. It's, it's a chance. And here we are, like, save $3,000 for our container kitchen to actually open up. So hopefully it's coming in 2021.
Awesome. I'm sure you're going to get there. And I think that you three should be applauded. You overcame loss at a young age. You guys overcame a difficult lifestyle and were able to drop a bunch of weight. And also the business. A lot of people, they'll try business once. If it doesn't work, they give up. and you guys stuck with it and you made it work. So I think you should be applauded for all that. I think that your strength and resilience is going to carry you over, and you will get that storage container. And write a book too. You should, because I think you have a hell of a story to tell. You should get it down on paper. And so again, I've been talking to Gus, Abe, and Rudy Peña from Abes Fitty Foods in Houston, Texas. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys.
All right, pleasure.